Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello guys, today I am going to show you how to answer the question on hypothesis testing. I've taken the question from May 2008 exam. Okay, read the question carefully and this is how we need to answer this question. And step 1, it's always good to find out the information given by the question. So if you read the question carefully, you will find that there is a sample mean. In order to locate the sample mean, you may like to see the number of sample, okay? The sentence that says, using these many numbers of sample, the mean has been calculated, that is sample mean. So the symbol to use for sample mean is x bar, and which in this question is 13,800. And number of sample taken, as you will read the question, you will find it, is 100. The population mean is in general the claim. In this question, the claim of the bulb manufacturer, and the population mean is given the symbol U with a stick in the front called mu, which is 14,000. So the bulb manufacturer is saying that the bulb should last for 14,000 hours. The standard deviation as given by the question is 1,000 hours. The question has not given you any information about level of significance to test. So, in order to make your decision, you will use 5% level of significance. Now, what does this mean, 5% level? It means the number of time, the percentage of time that this 14,000 may not be correct. Okay, that is what we call significance testing. Okay. Now with this information now, okay, here it is standard deviation, this symbol here, you will see the page where we will provide you the formula, and then you can figure out which formula to use to find out the z-score. Now in step 2, what is important is to set the hypothesis correctly. Remember, as a thumb rule, you will always say that the null hypothesis, which is S0, is equal to the population mean, which in this question is 14,000. So S0 shows that population mean mu equals 14,000. Okay, just close your eyes, just write S0 such that mu equals the amount of the population mean. In your alternate hypothesis now, this is important, okay, to find out whether it is a 2-tailed or a 1-tailed test. This question does not say to you greater than or less than the population mean. It is basically asking you if the claim of the manufacturer is right or wrong. Therefore, what we need to do is, in case of alternate hypothesis H1, this claim could be right or wrong, means it could fall on the either side of the tail. So we say 2-tailed test, okay, is not equal to 14,000. When it is not equal to 14,000, the mean could be greater than 14,000, less than 14,000, which in terms of the normal distribution diagram is therefore a 2-tailed test. Now in your step 3, what you need to do is find out the critical value of Z for 5% level of significance. Okay, so this is a time where you need to check this table and locate the appropriate Z at 5% level of significance. And to demonstrate your understanding, you may like to report the z-score at 1% level of significance, because these are the two most commonly used level of significance, 5% and 1%. Now if you look into the table, okay, because what we are saying here is 5% of the time this 14,000 could be incorrect. So this 5% in terms of the area could fall on the right hand side or the left hand side, therefore we call it 2-tailed test. So we therefore need to divide 5% by 2, which will give us 2.5% on the right hand side and 2.5% on the left hand side. Okay? This table here gives you the area in decimals, not in percentage. So you will convert this 2.5 in decimal, which is 0.025. Now this 0.025 in terms of z-score, if you see here, is 1.96. Okay? On this side it will be minus 1.96. Now in your when you will report this value for 1%, if you follow the same procedure, 1%, the z-score will be 2.58. Okay, so you may like to report at 5%, when it is two-tailed test, the z-score table gives 1.96 as z value and 2.58 as z value for 1%. Just report this value. Step 4, the easiest step perhaps, is to calculate the z for the given set of information. So the formula what we know is z equals x bar take away mu standard deviation root n. Put all the information that you have to calculate the z, which should give you 13,800 take away 14,000 over standard deviation is 1,000 hours and number of sample is 100. If you do the calculation, you will get -2. Okay, so your calculated z is -2. Now finally, in your final step, what you need to do is make decision and conclude. What you can say in terms of this diagram is critical zone. Okay, so 95% of the time you should be correct. Okay, and if you fall in that 5%, then your null hypothesis will be rejected. So this zone is null hypothesis, except outside this zone you reject the null hypothesis. Okay, reject here, reject here. Now check what you have found as your z, calculated z. Your calculated z is -2, which means it will fall somewhere here. Okay, therefore it is not within the critical region. Okay, not within the acceptable region. It is in the outside the critical boundaries. So what you need to do now is reject the null hypothesis. So when you make the decision, what you can say is the calculated z falls outside the acceptable region, okay, which means i.e. z calculated is greater than z critical. Therefore we reject H naught. And what is important to say after this is there is no evidence to support the null hypothesis. Okay? Therefore, there is no evidence to support the null hypothesis at 5% level of significance. This is what you will need to write to make your conclusion. Therefore, there is no significant evidence to support H naught, which is your null hypothesis. And this is how you will conclude your answer. Thanks.